Now, before we talk about how Plankton became the bad guy, we have to start at the very beginning. A time when Plankton wasn't always so evil. And believe it or not, he was once best friends with Mr. Krabs. Yes, that's right. Before he was the scheming tiny villain we know today, Sheldon J. Plankton was a bright, ambitious young plankton with dreams that stretched far beyond the little town of Bikini Bottom. You see, Plankton and Eugene H. Krabs grew up together. They weren't just neighbors. They were close, almost like brothers. Both came from poor families, and both wanted to make something of themselves. In their youth, they were known to be quite the pair, working on all sorts of little inventions and business ideas, dreaming of one day becoming rich and successful. Their bond was strong, and together they shared the hope that one day they'd be the most famous businessmen in all of Bikini Bottom. But, as with many stories of friendship, things started to change. As Plankton and Krabs grew older, their paths began to diverge. You see, where Krabs had a simple but noble dream of running a successful restaurant and making money to lift himself out of poverty, Plankton's ambitions were more grandiose. He didn't just want to be successful, he wanted power. Plankton, even as a child, had always felt small, and in more ways than just his physical size. He often felt overlooked, overshadowed, and underestimated. He craved control. And with that craving, the seeds of villainy were planted. Now, there's a specific moment that changed everything for the two. Plankton and Krabs had created a burger recipe together, their first true collaboration, one that they believed would take them to the top. This wasn't just any burger, it was something special, the recipe that would define their future. But alas, they couldn't agree on how to run the business. Krabs wanted a humble, honest approach, while Plankton was consumed by visions of global domination. The partnership dissolved, and in a bitter argument, they split ways. This was the birth of the Krabby Patty recipe, but only Krabs kept the secret. Plankton, furious and heartbroken, opened his own restaurant, the Chum Bucket, directly across from Krabs' Krusty Krab. He believed that his genius would outshine Krabs' simpler approach, but things didn't go as planned. You see, Plankton's food was terrible. The Chum Bucket served up the most disgusting meals, made from, you guessed it, chum, a mix of fish parts that no one in their right mind would want to eat. Meanwhile, Krabs' Krabby Patties became the most beloved food in Bikini Bottom, and Krabs' restaurant thrived while Plankton's failed miserably. Now, here's where Plankton's jealousy and bitterness started to take over. Instead of adjusting his business plan or creating better food, he became obsessed with stealing the Krabby Patty secret formula. His logic was simple. If he could get his hands on that recipe, he could make his own Krabby Patties, and he'd finally defeat Mr. Krabs and take over the fast food world of Bikini Bottom. This single-minded obsession turned Plankton into the villain we know today. Over the years, Plankton devised countless schemes to steal the formula. He built elaborate machines, used advanced technology, and even tried to outsmart Krabs through cunning and deceit. But no matter how clever his plans seemed, they always failed. Krabs, with the help of SpongeBob and the rest of the gang, always managed to keep the secret formula out of Plankton's reach. But here's the thing. As much as Plankton is portrayed as the villain, deep down, there's more to him. He's not evil for the sake of being evil. He's a character driven by deep insecurity, by a sense of inadequacy that he's never been able to shake. He feels like he's been wronged by the world, and especially by Krabs, who he believes stole his one shot at greatness. This feeling of betrayal, combined with his natural ambition, is what led Plankton down the dark path of villainy. And then there's Karen, Plankton's wife. Karen. She's a supercomputer that Plankton built himself, and she often serves as the voice of reason, though Plankton rarely listens to her. Despite their often bickering relationship, Karen genuinely cares for Plankton, and she's arguably the only one who truly understands him. She sees through his schemes and knows that at the heart of it all, Plankton is just trying to fill the void of feeling small and unimportant. Karen is often the one who reminds him that maybe, just maybe, there's more to life than the Krabby Patty formula. Now, Plankton's story doesn't have a traditional happy ending, at least not yet. He continues to plot, scheme, and try to steal the formula, and he continues to fail, again and again. But in his own strange way, Plankton is persistent, And there's something almost admirable about his never give up attitude. His story is one of frustration, yes, but also of ambition, of never letting go of a dream, even when that dream leads you down a darker path. And here's a little something to think about. Maybe, just maybe, if Plankton could let go of his obsession with the Krabby Patty formula, he might find success in other ways. He's brilliant, after all, and has the potential to create amazing things. But as long as he remains fixated on defeating Krabs, he'll never reach his full potential. So that's the story of Plankton, the small, brilliant, and misunderstood villain of Bikini Bottom, a tale of friendship lost, ambition twisted, and the endless pursuit of power. But who knows? Maybe one day, Plankton will find a different path, one where he doesn't need the Krabby Patty formula to feel important. Until then, though,